Bollywood produces two kinds of patriotic films these days. The first kind includes films like Gold, Satyamev Jayate, Rustam and even Bhagi 2. These films are often accompanied with a jingoistic fervor that not just coincides with the kind of frenzied nationalism seen on social media and in certain sections of society, but also creates a new kind of ideal Indian who is honest, patriotic and righteous to the point of sanctimony. Very often, these films lack any room for angst or irony because the hero is simply too perfect, often delivering sermons, occasionally peppered with words like Desh Bhakti, Matrabhumi and so on, as if to rouse us all up with patriotic emotion. The second kind of patriotic movies include films like Lakshya, Razi and Uri the Surgical Strike. The protagonists in these films are imperfect, grounded and rooted in reality and therefore far more relatable. Very rarely do their characters break into fervent outbursts declaring their undying love for their country. Instead, it is in the smaller and more poignant moments where we as an audience truly appreciate their daily sacrifices and struggles, and by the time they actually achieve some sweet victory for their country, as an audience, we feel they've rightfully earned their tag of being called national heroes. Manikarnika, the Queen of Jhansi, belongs to the first category of patriotic films. A biopic on the legendary Rani Laxmibai of Jhansi, the film begins with a young Manikarnika accepting a marriage proposal from Gangadhar Rao, the King of Jhansi. Soon, she is rechristened as Rani Laxmibai, and what follows is a series of events kick-started into motion by a scheming political nemesis and the conniving officers from the British East India Company. Films have an oddly captivating ability to trigger our emotions. It is not uncommon for people to feel a rising of tears or a lump in their throats during the course of a movie. This can only happen when a real connection is established between viewers and a character in the story. Only when this connection is established does the viewer feel empathy and emotionally vibes with the character. It is this connection that is missing from Manikarnika, the Queen of Jhansi. The film tries so hard to be a rising parable each time the Queen declares in a voice choked with emotion how we must stand up to the Britishers and how we must fight them not for our present today but for our future tomorrow. The problem here is that the film always seems to be in a rush towards arriving at these moments. The result is that we are given very little time to connect with her cardboard-drawn character, and by the time she gives a rallying war cry trying to steer us all up with zealous emotion, as an audience, we feel that the film has failed to earn our emotional investment. Kangana Ranaut is strictly two notes in her portrayal of Rani Lakshmibai. In the first half, she puts in a lot of effort to infuse her character with grace, while in the second half, she adopts a steely-eyed gaze. But beyond that, she fails to give the legendary figure any real substance or shades, choosing instead to play to the galleries. This lack of nuances is extended to the entire film as well, so it is but natural that the enemy British officers are shown as egoistic, pompous and at their despicable worst, often muttering sentences in accented Hindi such as "Ispe Sati ka padla" or "Sar jhukana padega." There's also a scene where a British officer hangs a village girl simply because her name happens to be Lakshmi. What's worse, the makers conjure up imaginary conflicts out of thin air in a vain attempt to amplify the Rani's struggles. So if it is historically known that the Rani's husband and firstborn son died due to ill health, the film implies that they were poisoned by potential successors to the throne. Kangana Ranaut is present in almost every frame of the movie, which means that the supporting cast is rarely given their moments to shine. Dependable actors such as Kulbhushan Kharbanda, Suresh Oberoi, Atul Kulkarni, Dengzongpa and Mohammed Zeeshan Ayyub show up intermittently but are never given any significant character arcs. But the film's biggest drawback here is its flawed direction. But who is to blame here? Is it director Krish who eventually left the film due to creative differences with his leading lady? Or is it Kangana herself, an actress who is no stranger to muscling her way through different departments of filmmaking? Either way, for a film this big, how do you explain badly lip-sync songs, scattered editing, fake CGI, over-the-top dialogue deliveries, and a film set that frankly looks like it was discarded from last year's Padmavat? The lyrics and dialogues penned by Prasun Joshi are impressive, but the hammy overacting and inexpert direction fails to do it any sort of justice whatsoever. The only time the film really impresses us are in the battle scenes, with Kangana allowing her swords to do the talking. It's hard not to cheer for her, particularly when the actress swishes and slices her way through British pounds of flesh and blood in a manner that would make the bride from Kill Bill smile in bloody satisfaction. The action choreography is brilliant, as is Kangana in such scenes, making you wish you'd see more of her as a dedicated action heroine. In the end, Manikarnika impresses as an action film but fails to deliver as a biopic. At times, it feels like it's unaware of what kind of film it wants to be. This lack of coherence fails to yank at our Deshbhakti chords. The Josh is low with this one. I'm going with 2 out of 5 for Manikarnika, the Queen of Jhansi.